I gave my parents a luxurious European trip, but they decided to take my jobless sister instead of me. They had a big surprise when they landed in Europe. For 2 years, I worked overtime and saved every spare penny to give my parents a trip they'd never forget. Flights, luxury hotels, guided tours. I planned every detail down to the last dinner reservation. But standing in my parents' driveway that morning, watching my sister Haley get into the backseat of my car with her own suitcase, I realized something I'd been avoiding for years. It didn't matter how much effort I put in, because in their eyes, Haley would always come first. "You're late," Mom said as she stepped onto the porch, pulling her suitcase behind her. I glanced at my dashboard clock showing 6:02 a.m., 2 minutes past pickup time. I got out to help with luggage, but then I saw Haley emerging from the house with her own bag. My smile froze completely. "What's going on?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. Mom turned to me with an expression far too cheerful for the situation. "Oh, Rachel, we decided Haley should come instead of you. She's been so stressed lately and really needs this trip." My chest tightened as the words hit me. "Instead of me? Mom, I've been planning this for years. I paid for everything." She waved her hand dismissively like I'd pointed out something trivial. "We're grateful, sweetheart, but you're always working so hard. You can take another trip later. Haley needs this right now." Haley didn't even have the decency to look guilty, just smirked while shifting her weight onto one hip. "Thanks for understanding, sis," she said, her tone dripping with fake gratitude. I stared at them both, my heart pounding. Dad shuffled out a moment later, avoiding eye contact as he handed me his suitcase. "This is unbelievable," I said, my voice shaking. "This was supposed to be our trip. Something for me to share with you." Mom smiled like nothing was wrong. "Well, it still is, just with Haley instead. Don't make this a big deal, Rachel. Your sister really needs a break." But as I stood there watching Haley settle into my car like she belonged there, something clicked into place that I'd been avoiding for years. I clenched my jaw, biting back the sharp retort sitting on my tongue. Instead, I forced a tight smile and opened the trunk. "Let's get going then," I said, my voice completely flat. If they wanted to prioritize her over me, fine, they could go with her, but I wasn't about to let them enjoy it on my dime. The drive to the airport was suffocatingly quiet, except for Haley's incessant chatter about Paris shopping and whether the tours would take up whole days. My hands gripped the steering wheel tighter as I forced myself not to say anything while listening to Mom chuckle about figuring it out when we get there. At the airport drop-off zone, my patience was hanging by a thread. As I helped unload luggage, Mom gave me a hug. "Thank you for understanding, sweetheart. This means a lot to us and to Haley." I nodded stiffly while Haley beamed, wheeling her suitcase toward the entrance. "Thanks, Rachel. You're the best." I stood watching them disappear into the terminal, my chest tight with anger and hurt. The ride home was a blur as I replayed every word, each one cutting deeper than the last. I parked in my driveway and sat gripping the steering wheel until my knuckles turned white. Then without hesitation, I marched inside, pulled out my laptop, and logged into every travel account I'd used to book the trip. Hotel reservations canceled, tours refunded, airline upgrades removed. I stared at confirmation emails piling up in my inbox, feeling the tightness in my chest start to ease. They wanted to take Haley instead of me? Fine. But they wouldn't be staying in 5-star hotels or enjoying private tours on my dime. The calls started as soon as their flight landed. My phone buzzed repeatedly while I unpacked the suitcase I'd so carefully prepared for a trip that was no longer mine. The irony wasn't lost on me as I hung up dresses and placed shoes back on shelves. I glanced at my screen showing Mom's name with several missed calls and increasingly frantic texts. "Violet, what's going on? The hotel won't let us check in. The reservation is missing. Call me immediately." A laugh escaped before I could stop it. They really thought I'd swoop in and save the day after what they'd done. When I finally answered Mom's call, her voice hit like a tidal wave of anger. "Rachel, what did you do? The hotel says the reservation was canceled and none of the tours are booked anymore." I let her rant for a moment, then calmly replied, "I canceled them." After a long, stunned silence, she hissed, "Why would you do that?" I responded with sarcasm dripping from every word. "Maybe because you decided to take Haley on my trip? You're lucky I even drove you to the airport." She snapped back that she thought I'd understand, but I cut her off. "Understand what? That years of saving and planning didn't matter because Haley needed a break? That my hard work meant nothing to you? Guess what, Mom? I don't understand, and I don't care to." I hung up before she could respond and turned my phone off, tossing it onto the couch. The silence that followed was blissful, and for the first time in years, I felt like I could breathe again. They wanted to prioritize Haley? Fine, but they could figure out the rest of their trip without me funding her vacation.